Graders, this is a quick video to go over some of the questions on the Check My Progress page for chapter 9. This is on page 585. And if you're in my class and you're watching this video, this assignment is on Thursday, April 23rd in your weekly schedule right here. Complete the Check My Progress page 585 to 586, which means you need to do the front and the back. Okay? If you're in Mrs. Schnett or Mr. Tillish's class, you're going to want to double check with your teacher about what your assignment is and if you have to do this page. So the first section up here is just a quick vocabulary check about the question says, circle the pairs of like fractions. So which one of these pairs of fractions represents like fractions? Remember, if we flip back in our book to the, let's see, what was it? Adding fractions lesson, you can be reminded that like fractions are fractions that have the same denominators. Okay, so again, flipping back to our Check My Progress page, which of these pairs of fractions represent like fractions, meaning they have the same denominator? If you circled this choice, you would be correct because they have the same denominator, and that's what you're going to write here. I circled 4/6 and 5/6 because I know like fractions have the same denominator. Now, of course, you can pause this video to copy down my sentence, or you can write your own. Going into the concept check, you have two questions here that follow these directions. Write each fraction as a sum of unit fractions. Remember, that means they have a numerator of 1. Then write an equation to decompose the fraction in a different way. So the first thing I'm going to do is write each fraction as the sum of unit fractions. So I know I'm working with fifths here, and I have 4 of them. The sum means I'm adding, so I have 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 equals 4/5. Now my next direction says, then write an equation to decompose the fraction into a different way. So what that means is that I can write an entirely new addition sentence using these fractions and add together different sets of them to create the same sum. So instead of writing 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 equals 4/5, I could do something like 3/5 plus, that's these three, 1, 2, 3, plus this one that's left over, plus 1/5 equals 4/5. Or I could have done these 2/5 plus these 2/5. 2/5 plus 2/5 equals 4/5. As long as you got 4/5 as your answer, your new equation is going to be correct. So go ahead and try number 3 on your own. Numbers 4 through 6 ask you to find each sum and then write the sum in simplest form. So I know when I'm adding fractions, I just add the numerators and keep the denominators the same. 2 plus 2 is 4. And 5 plus 5, oops, I just said that, but I didn't mean it. When I add fractions, I don't add the denominators. I keep them the same, is 4/5. Now, lucky for me, 4/5 is already in simplest form because the only factors that these two numbers share are 1. And that's how I know they're in simplest form. So let's do number 5 together. I'm going to add straight across my numerators. 1 plus 5 is 6, keeping my denominator the same as 8. Now this fraction is not in simplest form. I'm going to go ahead and list the factors of 6 and list the factors of 8 and find their greatest common factor, which is 2. And then to put 6/8 in simplest form, I'm going to divide both the numerator and denominator by their greatest common factor, which is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 3/4 is my answer. Go ahead and try number 6. Number 7, just like when I'm adding fractions, when I subtract fractions, I just subtract the numerators and keep the denominator the same. 7 minus 4 is 3. And keeping my denominator the same, I have 3/10. Now this is in simplest form, but these two might not be. So remember, you're going to need to find your greatest common factor and divide both the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor to put that number in simplest form. Okay? The back has a couple different word problems for you to be working on. Okay? I'm going to do number 10, but you are responsible for numbers 11 through 14. If you have any questions, please circle them and bring them to our next Zoom meeting. Number 10 is a word problem. It says, Elizabeth has 7/10 of a dollar. If she, spends 4/10 of a dollar, what fraction of a dollar will she have left? Okay, I see a couple different keywords here and I boxed them. Spends and have left, those are subtraction words. So I know I'm going to set up this problem as a subtraction problem. 7/10 minus 4/10. And with subtraction, I just subtract straight across my numerators and leave my denominators the same. 7 minus 4 is 3. Keeping my denominators the same, I have 3/10, which is in simplest form. 3/10 of a dollar left is my complete answer. Okay, so I hope this short little video helped you with some of the vocabulary and was the review you need to be successful on this Check My Progress page. So don't forget to circle the questions you get stuck on and let me know if you have any questions.